Hey guys, it's me again. Deciding to open up this update a little bit differently than usual. I don't know, maybe people are getting a little bit sick of the "Hey yo, what's up, guys" or whatever I say usually. But I'm doing this update because originally I put this update in a video saying that I was going to go live for a live stream, and then looking back on that, I went, man, that was a stupid idea. Like, there is no way that that's going to get to a lot of people. So I thought, all right, just do a proper update. Don't try to do any stupid gimmicks. So here we go. We're just going to do a proper update. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible, just so I can get all the information out there. But long story short, I just want to give a update to the situation which I've mentioned a few times now in various locations to do with me video uploads and hopefully some light at the end of the tunnel. Even though it's not terrible, it's kind of the title of this video is going to concern some people because it's going to make it sound like things are terrible, which I don't think it is. It's kind of just like awkward at the moment. That's the main problem. It's just a little bit awkward making videos. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. Go through step by step what's been happening. So for people who don't know, or for people who already know, I have mentioned before that my mother and her partner are currently moving, and that affects me because I live with them currently. After university, I came back home, and they've always wanted to move, so this is nothing that's come out of nowhere. So I've always known that this was going to be a thing that I would have to take into account. It's just it's happening much sooner than originally planned. Basically, the way that the UK does house moving is it's part of a chain of different transactions to do with like who you're selling the house to, who's buying the house, when you're buying a different house, and this chain is very complex and things could go wrong or different in a matter of just hours, depending on like who in the chain causes the disruption. So basically, long story short, it's gone to the point where originally they thought they were going to move in January, and now they're moving next week. And that just kind of happened out of nowhere. We just kind of got shorter and shorter notice. And they're moving next week. And the reason that affects me is because obviously I had to get to a point where I would be certain of where I was staying. Was I going to move up north with them? Was I going to stay down here with another relative? Because my dad and my grandmother also live close by. And things got a little bit more complicated because I've currently been job searching, which I also offhand mentioned a few times. And I've been quite unlucky these past few months. I've had quite a few interviews at places, but they didn't accept me for one reason or another. But I finally got a seasonal part-time job. And I started this week on the Monday. It's been doing okay. I mean, you know, it pays, and it's something to put down. It's just the first job, like, that I needed to get. It's kind of that position, because I was focused on my education for so long, and for various other reasons, I never had a quote-unquote part-time job until I finished university. I was very focused on finishing university first. So, this first job is kind of a big deal for me, but kind of not at the same time, because it's nowhere near what I want to do in the future. So, it's kind of just available right now to get me by. And the fact that it's seasonal means it ends at the end of December. So my current mindset for right now is to just basically milk this job for all it's worth, which kind of leads into the disruptions between video making, because I'm currently doing quite a lot of hours during the week because I get paid hourly. and it's kind of interrupting with like streaming schedule, video making schedule, because it's also since I wasn't able to get anywhere close by to where I live, I have to do a bit of a commute there and back. It's not too long, but it's longer than usual. It was long enough to when my coworkers asked where I'm from, and I told them where I'm from, they had a very surprised look on their face. So I'm guessing it's way longer than people would usually go for a part-time job. Honestly, I didn't know, because I'm not used to these types of things, so that's basically that was basically a revelation for me too. But it does mean that video making and streaming, as I've been trying to say, have taken a bit of a hit. Now, the good news is, since as I mentioned, this is seasonal, it's not forever, and I don't plan to make this for a job for forever, even if they offer it to me. This is only temporary, so that's a good thing, because that means things will only be like this for a little while. And the plan is, after I'm done staying here, then to complete the job, that is, then I will go back up north to my mother's place and stay around that area and try to find something in that area instead to keep me going. So by that point, I will hopefully have a better grasp on how my day-to-day life will go at that point, which will pretty much be what it used to be before I got the part-time job in the house that I am currently. So that is definitely a thing. And other than that, I am now also getting to a point where since my seasonal job ends at the end of December, however, my mother needs to move up north next week. That means that I'm going to have to find a place to stay while I'm down here so I can continue doing that job. And thankfully, my grandmother, who is an absolute sweetheart, she's great. She's always been there. Like, she's always been there for me and my family and everyone. She's always been close by. I visit her often. She was kind enough to offer me a place to stay since she's local, which is nearer to the train station where I get on to commute, so that's very nice. And I'm going to be doing the commute there. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because beforehand, I could kind of do video recordings at least somewhat regularly. But that might change because all of my stuff will have to go to the new house up north while I stay down here with my grandmother. And obviously, since I'm living with my grandmother, things will be a little bit different than what I usually do, which includes recording and streaming and all that. So it's kind of gone to that point where I have to make this update to basically say things are going to be a bit, as the title says, dicey for the next month or so. Or at least the next 4 weeks. And things are going to be very uncertain when I can upload, when I can stream, all of that fun stuff. I was trying to stream like at least 3 times a week. That was my sort of personal goal. And I was pretty good with sticking to that for a few months now, but that's probably going to change for this month because of all of the things that I just said. And I've never been one to stick to a schedule either, but I really want to start trying to do things more consistently so that people know when I'm streaming and and give out more info for when things are going to go out. And kind of have that info more readily available, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of going to be my New Year's resolution for going into 2020. And that's a thing that I want to kind of do in January, but obviously I'll talk a lot more about that when that time actually comes around. But basically the important stuff for right now is that, long story short, things are going to be very inconsistent for the next month of December. So I hope you'll bear along. I hope you'll bear with me along that month while I try to do all of this and work my ass off to try and squeeze this job for all it's worth and get that sweet moolah. This is not a habit I plan to make habit of, because I'm also becoming painfully aware of I need to try and pace myself with some things, especially working, because of just how I am. So it's just one of those things that I've always had in the back of my mind, where it's like, okay, I need to try and find that good balance where I can sort of do everything while also being sustainable. So basically, I'm trying to be an adult. But I'm kind of throwing that rule a little bit to the wind because this is just temporary. So that's why I'm trying to squeeze as much out of this part-time gig as possible. So yeah, that's pretty much where things stand right now. And I just want to make that information available to you guys so you know. So that's pretty much how it's going to be. That's not to say videos won't happen. Or streams. Streaming, honestly, still has a potential. It probably won't be 3 times a week, but if I can at least keep up once a week, then that'll be something. So we'll be able to continue all of the stuff that I've started, and be way later than everyone else in completing it. But hey, what else is new? So that's it's still not completely off the table, but it's still worth keeping those expectations in check for the next 4 weeks. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to go through. So I will try my damnedest to get stuff out when I can. It's going to be very inconsistent. And hopefully when the new year turns around, it will get back on track and I can start doing all of the stuff that I want to do consistently. So yeah, that's going to be it from me for now. And I hope you guys will stick around despite this. So thank you for being understanding, and I'll see you guys next time.